Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the BOCC meeting for November 29th, 2022. Please rise for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, gentlemen, first thing we have on our agenda are minutes. Do you have any other additions or corrections?
I do not.
Okay.
I would so move we accept the minutes of the November 21st, 2022 E911 meeting and also the minutes of the November 22nd, 2022 proceedings of the Board of County Commissioners of Montezuma County.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the proceedings of the E911 Board of Commissioners, Montezuma County for November 21st, 2022, and also the proceedings of the Board of Commissioners, Montezuma County, November 22nd, 2022. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, planning. We have one item.
Today. So the Daves have submitted an exemption application. They have roughly 170 acres that resides on both sides of Highway 491. This one little 9.5 acre triangle piece is cut off by the highway, and also from the other 30 or 40 acre section to the north of it, there's a 12-15 foot gap separated by CDOT's right of way, separating those two pieces. And we did have the surveyors confirm that prior to having the application submitted. So with the state statute, where property is separated off from the rest of the parcel by a government entity, which would be the highway in this instance, they are applying for that exemption.
Questions?
I have no questions. I mean, this is really simple.
Pretty straightforward.
I would so move we accept the exemption resolution submitted by Rodney and Crystal Daves on property located at to be determined Highway 491 Pleasant View.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the exemption resolution submitted by Rodney and Crystal Daves on property located at TBD Highway 491 Pleasant View, Colorado. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
All right. And then do you have that? Oh,
Not yet. No, we'll get the document done. The Mylar is going to print, but they'll have to get signatures with the school district for creating another parcel and sign it themselves. So we'll get that
okay.
here in the next week or two.
Sounds good.
I do have one update. Late yesterday afternoon, I did get a call from Sharon Ward out on Road P, and she did respond to the notice that she was given. I guess it was taped to her door from the, what's it called?
Process server?
Process server, right. And she did understand the situation. She said she's working on it. She's got some health issues, but that she has had a couple of horse trailer loads hauled out this weekend, or maybe it was yesterday, down to the landfill, and they are in the process of rounding up all the tires. She says several of the older vehicles that are stored there are left to her kids from her dad and her uncle, and she's planning on keeping those, but she's gonna move those to the back of the property. But that, she understands the county's position, she's working on it, but it's gonna take some time. And I just requested that she respond, to us in an email so that we have that response and that commitment.
So, which is great. I mean, that's the first step, and hopefully Mel has seen some of those coming to the landfill. But, you know, here again, do we set the time frame on these, or do we allow them to kind of give us a plan to set the time frame? How do we proceed with that?
Well, so the way the statute reads, if a property's out of compliance, it's out of compliance. And it stays out of compliance until it's in compliance. We could file a complaint, and we could, you know, attempt to enforce the land use code. And up until that property was brought completely into compliance, it would be subject to fines pursuant to the law. Now, certainly, you know, the reality on the ground is a court's going to look at this, and if a landowner's making efforts to mitigate the situation, you know, a court's going to take that into consideration when they're levying fines. And the statute does allow a lot of discretion in terms of how much is levied against a property owner. You know, my advice in this situation would be, you know, this is certainly a positive that we got correspondence from the landowner. That's a step in the right direction. Sounds like some efforts are being made. You know, my thought would be, I mean, I think it would be super helpful to see if we can go down there, you know, get some pictures, get some sort of lay of the land as it is now, and then, you know, see what happens on that property. I mean, if efforts are being made to clean it up and progress is being made, it doesn't make a ton of sense to go into court and expend those resources that way. But, you know, again, it's really up to you guys. I mean, the law's the law. If it's in compliance or out, I mean.
And I agree with that. I guess what I'm saying is, you know, how much time does she really need if she's making an effort, a real effort? 6 months, a year? I mean.
Well, certainly based on the satellite pictures that we have of that property, I mean, I can't imagine this is going to happen within a week.
Oh, no.
This is
No,
a substantial project. So, you know, my thought would be, I mean, I think we need to get a sense of exactly what's going on down there if we can, quite frankly.
I guess, and I totally agree with you, but what my fear is the same fear that we are dealing with up on top of the hill on Road T. You know, we were lenient, and now we find ourselves into a situation. So is it better to just say, you know, we're going to review this quarterly, and in a year we expect to have it all removed? Is that an unrealistic expectation, or is it realistic because of what's there? If you're making a true effort to remove it.
You know, my thought is this, and based on what we saw with the Ironwood situation, I think it may hold some weight here too. I think you need to see consistent periodic progress. I mean, I think if you push something off to quarterly, I think that's a long time. And what we saw is sometimes, you know, you get 2.5 months or a week before the quarterly date, and then all of a sudden people start acting. I mean, one option might be, you know, for, you know, our planning department to coordinate with our landfill and figure out what's coming in there on a regular basis. I mean, set up some kind of schedule. I don't know what all's out there. I don't know exactly what the lay of the land is, but if you're able to set up some kind of periodic benchmarks, say, you know, a couple weeks or a month or something that's easy where, you know, Mr. Jarman can call up here and say, hey, you know, a load came in, this is how much it weighed, this is what it was, then that's an easy way to continue to monitor and make sure that periodic progress is being made.
And that might make more sense than a site visit. I agree with Ian. We probably need an initial site visit just to see, because I don't know how much runs down that canyon, that draw.
Could she just bring in her load tickets?
Yeah, but she could hire somebody to bring in load tickets. How would they ever know that they're coming off that property? I don't think how would you do that?
Well, if we've got trash coming in, that's a good thing. I mean, one place or
I'm not
another.
saying that, it's, but how do you know it's coming off of that property?
Yeah, no, I understand what you're
How do
saying.
you know?
Yeah, no, I
Right.
understand. I mean,
I'm
ultimately,
just,
we
I'm
would,
just saying, do we do a monthly report, quarterly report? How do we, because otherwise, we don't, we're not finishing what we started. How do we evaluate it? And if we don't give clear expectations up front, the people in the back, and I go back to Ironwood, then they don't ever really know until you get into a court situation, and I would rather eliminate being in another court situation. I think the expectation should be up front. That's why the time frame is, do we evaluate it monthly, quarterly? Do we then say our expectation up front is to give them a year? I mean, and that may not be enough time. I don't know.
I think the initial visit would help quantify, because, I mean, without heavy equipment down that canyon, I don't think you're ever getting it out of there. To some degree, I mean, I don't know when it started, but 50 years of stuff is 50 years of stuff.
It's
Now
probably
what-
100 years of stuff there.
Right.
You're not gonna haul it off in a week.
Oh, no, no.
Would a
You
year
know, so
be?
I think if
be-
you make an initial visit and then we just need to check it periodically to make sure there is some progress being made, because
Right,
it's gonna take a while.
yeah. And through the winter, it's gonna be hard
Well, yeah, the next 3 months.
to see it, but, you know, even a monthly visit, you should be able to see.
You're not
you
gonna
know,
do
loads are
anything
going
off the
out.
hill in the next 3 months, but the stuff flat on top could be dealt with.
Right.
To a certain degree.
Which is what has been added over the course of the last 2 or 3 years, is the stuff on top more so than, from what we can tell from it.
So from what I'm hearing is that we'll go do an initial visit and then
I think that
evaluate
makes
it
sense.
monthly after that,
Mhm.
and then we'll establish a time frame to give them so that they actually have an expectation up front.
well, just so everybody's clear, I mean, there's no, it's not mandated, we're not legally allowed to go visit, we're gonna have to get permission
I
from that
understand
landowner.
that.
So I just wanna be sure that,
Good?
Personally, I think, I mean, we need some discussion about this whole thing, because we need to provide some kind of incentive to me to get these people to do it. And if we want them to do it in a timely manner, we need to give them, in the next year, if they're hauling loads to melt off of that place and getting it cleaned up, we need to,
No, that's a good,
financially, this is a burden. And these people
that's-
don't have money.
yeah, let's,
I mean, I know these people, and they do not have the money to do a whole lot of stuff. I don't know. I think there's some things we could do
to help them. And
to
I
help
agree.
get this cleaned up and help this whole county do that when we get in these situations, because a lot of that stuff that's there is not what Sharon did. It's what her dad did, her uncle did. It's been there for years.
Right.
It's not, and we're putting it all on them. You know, and I don't know. I just think they're, personally, I think.
And
we
I
could-
don't
we could help
disagree with
somebody.
incentivizing them and helping them to a point to where if they're willing to move forward and we can help them,
Mm-hmm.
that ultimately what we want to do is get it compliant.
Right.
Sure.
So we're not trying to beat anybody down. I think, I hear what you're saying and I agree with that. But I mean,
Yeah.
would
I
it
don't
be,
I mean, maybe we can do something with the landfill as far as the fees there go. If they do it within a certain amount of time, I don't know. I'm just throwing things out there, possibilities. I don't know what you guys think, but
well, I think
I
the issue
just
with the
think if
landfill
we-
as an enterprise zone is he can't waive fees because those are fees. So it's a little
I
bit
know.
different because it's an enterprise zone. Now, we could pay it out of our commissioner's budget to help with that. I mean, there are ways that we could do it, but as an enterprise zone, Mel can't waive any fees. There's
Oh, I
nothing
know.
that he can do, so we
I
can't.
know.
Right.
I'm not talking about Mel, I'm talking about us.
No, I know. I mean, we can
We're
do
mandating this
something-
stuff. I think we should be doing everything we can to help incentivize them to get this, to do it.
And I agree with incentivizing, but we're not mandating it. The voters mandated the land use code go into effect, so the voters are the ones that put it into effect, not us, not the three of us. We're just trying to make it compliant. But I agree, if there's some incentive, and we can have that discussion, That-
Let's set up a work session.
that
and
can just
kick
be
this
in the
around.
workshop.
Have Mel come in and see what we can do.
But I agree, to incentivize them and to help them in a way, I think that makes good
It
sense.
may, I mean, we may be able to get way more compliance. I
Absolutely.
think. I don't know. I'm
Right.
just trying to figure out some way to get it done because
Yep. Sometimes they need help.
they need help.
I get it. Okay, well, I would say then make your initial inspection. We'll have that conversation at a workshop and see what we can do. And
Yeah.
then we'll go from there. Because if she's willing to clean it up, she just needs help, then we will figure out something.
Okay.
Because ultimately, it just needs to be cleaned up.
Right.
That's the bottom line. Just like Ironwood. Ultimately, I don't want to impose fines if we don't have to. It's a matter of let's get it cleaned up for,
Yeah, get the
What?
problem
Yeah.
taken care of.
yeah. Good point. Okay. Anything else?
Nope, that'll do it.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
All right, next we have our public comment session. The Board of County Commissioners welcomes you to this meeting. Person speaking during public comment will be limited to 3 minutes, or depending on the number of people wishing to speak, it may be reduced to allow all the members of the public the opportunity to address the board. When addressing the board, please state your name and address for the record prior to providing your comments. And comments to individual supervisors or staff are not permitted. Participants may not yield their time to others. And with that, the public comment session is open. Okay, seeing none, we're gonna close the public comment session. We're gonna go right straight to Public Works, Road and Bridge, Mr. Engelhardt.
Morning.
Morning. First of all, I think I congratulated you last week, but I'm not sure you were here, but congratulations again for Montezuma County. Let's go get a bridge built.
That was wonderful, wasn't it?
That was wonderful.
Yeah. That's moving along pretty good as far as we can tell, and I think I sent you, did I send you that email of the notes, meeting notes with CDOT? Yeah.
Yeah.
So just to kind of update it since we're talking about it, the bridges, we did receive a grant, which was wonderful from CCI. That gets us up to where we can be competitive out there on an open bid, so we'll send it out for bid again, hopefully at the end of December. But we are waiting for a new issue that has come up since last year was the monarch butterfly now is an endangered species. Stop it.
We have the jumping mouse out there. We have the rattlesnakes out there. We have now a monarch butterfly. We have just one more issue that we've got to deal with.
Apparently
But-
somebody saw some milkweed down in there, which is a natural feed for the butterfly. So Fish and Game has to go down, take a look at it, and make sure everything's good. And they've got 45 days to respond. They think they can do it in 30, but, you know, they may be busy. It might be 45. So that could be an issue that would delay us to put this out for bid at the end of December. Our goal was to put it out for bid in November, give the contractors more time to review and look at the plans and give us a decent number, and have a little more time to look at it. But we need a contract by March 15th, or we start all over again with the Corps of Engineers. So it's round, around we go. Here we go some more. So, but the money's there, and I think now that we've got that, that'll at least give everybody incentive to push a little harder to get this butterfly thing put to bed and put away. I don't think it'll be an issue, but we have to give them their due diligence to go look now. So, and we can't bid it out for bid till they've done their due diligence. So, I was hoping we could at least put it out for bid and deal with the butterflies later, but no, it don't work that way. So, So there's where we're at with that. But it's good news on the other hand is everything's is good on the rest of it. All the other environmental issues that CDOT wanted to bring to the table have been met, and will continue to be okay with the birds and the different things. We're all still in compliance, and so it's just this one little more hurdle, and we're ready to go. So we'll hopefully we'll put that out for bid. But thank you for your efforts too. You saying thank me, I think you had a little more to do with this than I did. So, the power of the pen is there sometimes.
It's a team effort.
Yes, that's good.
You had it ready to go, and it was good. I'm glad we got it, and
So looking at our month of December work activities, it's kind of slowed down from the heavy work this summer, but we will continue to do some things. So we had a couple of culverts that we were going to replace here in early December, late November. Some of them have already been done. We are shouldering the roads whenever the roads are available to shoulder. This is a good time of year to throw some gravel over those edges because the shoulders are stronger and the chip seal's not as hot and weak. So even if the weather isn't perfect every day, we can still kind of do that as we go. Crack seal is the good time of year to do this. The next couple of weeks, if the weather isn't too wet, this is a good time of year. It doesn't pick up when the cars go over it. It stays in the crack where it belongs. So even though it's kind of hard to do, it's cold, it's kind of more miserable for the crews on the ground, but it is the right time of year to do it. So we'll work on some of that. Continuing to gravel roads whenever available. And then this is the tree trimming season when the leaves are gone now and we can trim those trees. So we'll be tackling lots of trees and different things along the road that need to be trimmed back. And in fact, I just got a call this before the meeting. We've got one lean over on Road M over by, I think he said 29, that's about to come across the road today. So we'll probably have to, this is a big one, we'll have to get a tree service to go help us with that one. So these old trees, you know, 8 years ago or 9 years ago, we started this program of helping take some of these trees down. We were getting calls every time the wind blew to go clear the road. And we've made tremendous progress of getting rid of these old trees on the cottonwood trees on the ditch lines, the old irrigation ditches, where they had water and they were healthy. Now they're no longer healthy, they're dying. And we've cleaned a lot of trees up in the last 7 or 8 years that are safe now for the public to use it 24 hours a day, where before you didn't know if today was your day or if today was a day a tree hit you. So we get very few calls now on these trees, and it's been good progress, but we still get them. So we've got another one to go look at today. So, and then plowing snow today was kind of a surprise to us. We started out this morning looking like, well, this will blow over, won't be a big deal, and it turned to an instant ice skating rink out there. And so us, CDOT, everybody else is scrambling to get trucks out. And in fact, we actually had a call from CDOT requesting some help on North Broadway by Empire Electric. They just can't be everywhere at once either. So we threw a truck out there to help them, and they're helping us on some other roads out towards Pleasant View, and there's wrecks out there, and the roads are closed, and it all happened at once. So everybody just slow down, and we'll be there as quick as we can get these. We're out on the road. We've been out for several hours now, but you know, in another hour it'll probably open up and be okay too. So it's that flash freeze that hits you in the morning, and it got a lot of people today. So, but we're still planning on plowing snow on the 26th because we always get snow on Christmas Day, and then we plow snow the rest of the week. And so I'm going with a running average that we'll see some snow there. So that's what we're doing in December. So any questions on that?
nope.
Okay, we had a little deal come up here recently. This is a culvert on Road 20 north of Road U out at Lewis. It's a multi-plate culvert that's got some repairs needed on the foundations, the footings. There's a couple of pictures there. So CDOT does this every 2 years. They send out engineering firms to inspect our bridges, and so we've had a couple of them that come up this year with some work that we need to do. Next slide right there. You can see on this here where the scouring has affected the footings on this multi-plate, and we're going to have to go in there here this month. We want to try and get it done now. The irrigation's over, the water's lower, and we can get in there. This is a live stream though year-round, so we'll have to deal with the water, but the plan is to go in and move the water from one side to the other while we excavate along the footings and then pour concrete back under the footing and then put riprap on each side. It's a procedure that it's in the CDOT handbooks that they provide us. So I've already notified CDOT what we're going to do there, and they're happy with our repair procedure of what we're going to do. But these are some of the bridges that we are starting to see some scouring over the last, what did you say a minute ago, Gerald, 100 years? You know, they've been here a long time. So, and it's like scouring is a big deal under there. So next slide. You can right there. You can see where the footing is 12 inches deep, but then there's another 6 inches below the footing. Slide it up just a little bit more. There you go. You can see how the water's up underneath that footing now. So we've got to get underneath there, dry it out, clean it out, and then pour concrete back under it, and then put riprap on it. So that'll be a fun little December project we'll work on, December or January, depending on the weather, or the flow of water, I mean. So I thought I'd bring that up. And we got 2 at Mancus to do that way, and there's also a bridge deck at Mancus that's got some scour, or some grinding we need to fix across Road J and H there at that intersection of the river. We had to put a weight limit on it last year. And then about the time we were gonna go pave Road S, we got a call from CDOT that the bridge on, going down Road S up to Hay Camp there, it's overloaded with gravel. So, sure glad we didn't pave it. So we gotta go take the gravel off of that one now and get it back down in compliance. You know, just so many years of layer after layer after layer. So we've got some work to do on that bridge. So we've got some bridge work to do this spring that we hadn't had to do in the last few years. So that'll keep us busy through the winter.
Well, that's a lot easier than having to pump concrete under the footers.
Yeah, that's bad there. I'm glad that they saw that. I mean, we draw water out of that creek year round. We have access there for a truck, and you just get used to seeing things, you don't even pay attention. So one of these crews come in, these engineering firms come in for CDOT, and they're very good at what they do. They're honest, and they do good work, and that's a good one to catch. So we'll jump on that this winter while the water levels are low and get that taken care of. But other than that, that's pretty good. That's all we're doing on that. And then doing some blading. We've just got through blading Road 16 out at Pleasant View, where all the activities through the hunting season had tore that road up from 491 all the way up to the state or the county line. Just got it finally bladed out and cleaned up again, and working on some of those from the hunting season. And the weather's still good to blade. As long as we can blade and not have a mess, we'll continue working on those as we go. So,
Yeah, they're saying close to 50 degrees tomorrow.
well, I hope so.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. Is it really?
Yes.
Oh, well, then I'm looking forward to it, you know, so we'll
That's
place
it.
more roads.
Makes
They'll
a
put
great
moisture in the road
snowplow.
bed.
Yeah, exactly. So
Great snowplow.
it's, it started out this morning at 4 in the morning, it was 36 or something like that, and by the time I got to the shop at 5:30, it was 23. So, you know, it hit fast and it hit hard, so, but, bear with us, we're catching up, we'll be ahead of the game here in a little while, so. Other than that, that's about all I got. CCI on the 11th, we're leaving on 11th, right? So, yes, sir. Okay, you riding with us? You're not going, and how about you? You going? Okay, good. So, we've got the, Shane got the, what do you call it, expedition all lined out, ready to go, so I guess we'll meet over at the shop over there, so, okay. Good. That's it.
And again, thank you for getting those signs up on Road 31. I
yeah.
did notice the flags waving on them, and they're noticeable. But again, just like you said, people slow down. Bean Canyon is a miserable canyon, and it's slick and it's icy. Always has been, always will be.
That's a conversation we probably ought to have this morning too. That we do not have any jurisdiction or maintenance requirement, or not requirements, maintenance obligations on that after November 1st. That becomes Kinder Morgan's responsibility with their contractor, who is R&B Tucker, is who that is now. And so there is a person that you call to notify them at Kinder Morgan, and that's always worked pretty well in the past, but this year they've got a new person in charge, and I don't know this person very well. So I'm hoping he's pretty good at answering the phone. But if you guys get a call, there is a guy that does this, that Kinder Morgan, and they've asked us to let them manage their own work, and I've said absolutely. So after that last wreck up there, I think that kind of woke everybody up that, hey, it's that time of year again, and we'll be better about it, and I think that'll help too. Signs, again, signs on a federal road are difficult to do, but we had the blessing of Derek with the Forest Service to do this, which was good. We just went through a sign meeting yesterday with the BLM and the monument, and they've been working for 4 years now just to get directional signs on their roads to these different areas out there on the monument. So it's not easy just to go throw signs up on a federal road. They've got their criteria, and they've got their rules and their regulations, and with Derek and the Forest Service, they're working with us on that, and that's a good thing. So
Yeah.
putting those up was very easy, and we had the support of the Forest Service, so that was good.
And he was very thankful. Obviously, I sent you that text that he sent me.
And I want to thank
so
them for being that proactive and stuff like that, because
You bet.
it could be the other way. It could be one of those red tape government things that takes 4 years to put up as a curb sign, you know, so. traffic studies and all that. So Derek works well with us on that. I think the BLM is working their way through their monuments and all their signs that they're doing, and they've got a good plan, and we looked at it yesterday, and they've got a good start on it, and hopefully we'll see some stuff come up with their stuff too, so. Good, so, anyway,
All
good,
right. Thank you.
thank you,
All right.
see you later.
Mel.
Well, the first page looks pretty good, but if you go to the last page, it's a little red. A few things. Everything's going pretty good at the landfill. We've got our subgrade points for cell 5, so we can start construction on cell 5 as we want to work on that. Our 5-year financial assurance is going up to CDPHE this week, so we'll stay in compliance with that. Road department got our dozer back to us yesterday, and our 924 is over there being fixed for the rear axles went out of it. Most of the organics has gone in the Carver field. As soon as the snow clears up, we'll have Ron from Troutner come over and verify that it's clear, and he can stamp it, and we'll get Randy in to put in all the grade stakes so we know what to fill and cut, so we can start filling Carver field through the winter, I hope. Couple things, when I was doing the budget, checking prices on stuff coming up, as everybody knows, everything has gone up, including our baling wire for baling. It's almost doubled. So I recommend, we were charging $50 a bale for commodities to come in, like cardboard and stuff. If it was $100 the broker's paying out, we charge $50 to bale it, and we pay like the city 50. I'd like to raise that to 55 is to cover our extra cost of the wire starting January 1st. One other thing, I want to raise the cost of bringing tires to us, because the shredder was about $20,000 more this year than it has been. And we're getting a lot of tires. Right now, we're charging about $1 less than the tire shops. I'd like to at least be even with them on that, raise residential car tire to $3.50, on a rim to $12, a semi-truck tire to go from $18.90 to $20, and a truck tire on the rim to go to $40, January 1st, but that's up to y'all.
So these were lowered, I think, the year I started in 2019, right? All of the tire stuff was
They did come
lowered
down, and the reason they
substantially.
came down is because we quit shipping them out, we started shredding them. It was really costing us to ship them out, because we had to make arrangements and have JLM come in and stack them and ship them out. It was a very labor intensive and costly to do that, but now that we're shredding, we got the cost to come back down. But now shredders and fuel and everything else has gone back up, so we gotta cover that cost
Sure.
somehow.
Where do we compare with that cost of 2019 or 20, was 2018,
Man,
2019?
Jim, I
you know?
don't remember, we came down quite a bit. I think it was $10 a tire back then for a residential car tire. So, but the advantage we have now compared to back then, when we did that tire cleanup in 2019, it changed our permit. So we're no longer just a collection facility, we're a tire processing unit and end user. So we can stockpile a lot more tires, so I can postpone the shredder longer and do more at one time than before. When we get so many tires in, we had to ship them out and stay in compliance with the state. So that was, we were only allowed to store, I think it was 5,000 or 7,000 tires. Now we can do 100,000, which is not gonna happen down there. We're never gonna let it get that. There's just too many. You've seen the pile of the
Of
tires when we had 30.
30,000, yeah.
And that's, yeah. And we've got quite a few in that came in after the shredder left already. So, but we've got to cover that cost somehow. I don't think we need to raise our MSW or construction waste prices right now. We're still competitive with everybody else in the area. It's just the tires and the wire, the baling costs that I think we need to increase in January to help cover those costs that we're fixing to endure. So, if you wanna look at those prices and make another suggestion, I went over it with Rachel this morning.
No. You have to cover your cost.
We
And there's-
got to.
Okay.
There should be a video.
I saw that video. Is that real time
It's,
to get through that whole pile
no.
or?
Part of it was sped up, and we're working with Jedediah. We're working on getting a video for the landfill built on everything that we do down there. The recycling, how we do the trash, the composting, the shredding, everything. He's working with us trying to get that put together. So hopefully we'll have that by spring. Weather, we kind of work on it as the weather
Yeah.
works out.
Before we move on, let me stop you for 1 second because I've got to ask Ian, do we need that in the form of a resolution that we can actually display on the screen so that we can let everybody know that those are going to be raised in January?
We can do it by motion or by resolution. Certainly by resolution would be a little easier because we'd have it in front of us, but you can do it either way.
So can you work with Ian
Absolutely.
and get that done and then we can?
I'll just send you an email.
Yep, that works. Yeah, if you can just send me the rate changes and then I can incorporate those and
Put it by
we'll-
resolution so
we'll get them on a
everybody knows.
resolution next week.
That'll be perfect, and then I'll have IT change our website and our brochure.
After we vote on it, yeah.
Oh, Jedediah Mesa Media did this. Now that's, I think, at least double speed. The difference that machine made is just unreal. Now that's actual speed right there.
It's pretty fast.
It is, what would take us probably 30 minutes to do with the loader, we can do in probably 10 minutes. And the job it does is just so much better. That row that he turned was cooled down, and 2 days after he turned it, he was back at 250 degrees. a pretty good job on that thing. And Jimmy Mayaga from the newspaper was down Tuesday. He's gonna be doing the article on it. It'll be coming out in the paper. I don't know if it's this week or next week. That's all I've got.
Looks
Good
like
deal.
good compost, man. Nice color.
That machine, the difference it made in one pass is just incredible. Just incredible. It's gonna be a huge improvement.
Mel, I've got a question. Is Ironwood still bringing material down?
They are. I don't
Okay.
know if they'll be down today because of
Yep.
the weather, but they were in yesterday.
Okay. How much are you guys getting every day?
Oh, Lord, I don't know. They got different sized trucks running. Cody Lingo's bringing his walking floor in at least twice, maybe 3 times a day. They've got some F-350 dump trucks with big 4-foot sides coming in. I haven't seen the dump trucks or the belly dumps. Well, I was out for a week. I didn't see them last week, Thanksgiving week, so I don't know where they've got running, but.
So you know how many tons that we've recorded that they've brought to us? Are
No,
we
we're just-
recording it? We're
I'm
just,
just gonna track it by yards and
Gotcha.
compost it. I'll report that to the state at the end of the year, what we're bringing in. The one thing I'm tracking is private citizens coming across the scale. I wanna keep track of the private citizens bringing it to us. That other stuff from them, I can track that as we compost it by the cubic yard. But, I mean, I think he's bringing it in as fast as he can with the trucks he's got available.
sure.
That outfit that was just to the north of him, the construction company, those dump trucks on Smith or something,
Mhm.
they were hauling in some until they got on something else, but they were hauling in several loads too. So, and I think, depending on the weather, if the ground freezes, we may have another spot next to the Carver field, we may put some more there too, to actually get some more down there.
So how much, I don't know if this is where you were headed, but how much more can you take in cubic yards?
Oh, shoot, I don't think we're even halfway to what they've brought. I think we can at least double that, maybe triple. We've put quite a bit up on top, we're putting some down by our limb pile, and we're putting some over, Cody's actually dumping over there on the, Old Cortez Sanitation District landfill, close to the sheriff's range.
Mhm.
That was the area that we'd cleared off back in June or July, when they were supposed to start bringing it to us. That's a pretty big area. That's probably 5 acres right there that we can stockpile quite a bit. And plus, we can still put some over next to the carbon field. So we've got a little ways to go yet. We can
Okay.
take quite a bit more.
Okay,
So
good.
the only time I shut them down is if it's muddy. I don't want to come in there and tearing up our roads, you know, especially when we were down equipment. We didn't have nothing to pull them out with. But I don't see any reason tearing up our equipment, trying to pull theirs out. We're bringing in wood chips, so we're trying to help them do it first.
Very good.
Anything else?
Nope. All right, thank you, sir.
Okay.
Justin with the fairgrounds.
Morning.
Good morning.
How you doing, Justin?
Good. So, our attendance today, 60,915 people to the fairgrounds this year. Don't got a whole lot going on in the wintertime. It's a little bit more slower since we can't really utilize the outdoor arena or anything, so everything's pretty much indoors if something goes on. The last month we did have the commodity giveaway and the barrel race, and then Four States Junior Rodeo out there. This month, we really don't got much planned except for just the practices that are going on. We are going to do the services this Friday that we kind of discussed a little bit yesterday. And then there's the commodity giveaway this weekend on the 3rd. Other than that, that's pretty much all that we got going on as far as events or whatever. The rest is just kind of maintenance and getting some things together there at the fairgrounds that we need to work on. We did go visit with Montezuma Water Company this month, and I did get in contact with Steve over there last week, and I'm waiting to hear back from him hopefully this week to kind of give us some insight on where we can go with our suppression line. So, I don't know. I'm hoping for good news on that one. Other than that, we are looking at doing a couple projects out there. One of them being that transformer upgrade and some electrical upgrade to some of those little barns. I have got contact with Empire on that transformer, so we're getting the ball rolling on that one. And then as soon as we can, I don't know what our timeline is as far as getting one in yet, but we're getting the ball rolling as far as,
As long as we get it in before July, correct? Is that
yeah,
typically
end
when?
of July, yep.
So, knowing the situation with transformers, we felt that we better get it rolling because we might be struggling just by July if we didn't get it going now.
Exactly, and it's a pretty cheap upgrade, so, in the grand scheme of things, so that's a good one to do, I believe. The only other thing that we were looking at is our outdoor restrooms as well, and I did get back our plans for that, so I've been going over those plans. I've been trying to get some cost estimates on basically doing partitions and the showers, and so we can get those remodeled. It might take me a couple weeks to get everything together, but I do think, you know, if we want to go ahead and move forward with that, we can pretty much do all that ourselves as far as work, and we could probably do that in January, February timeframe, just to kind of give you guys an idea. But, I mean, I don't know if that's something we want to just set a cost on and say we don't want to go over, or if you'd rather wait till I kind of get some numbers back on that and present to you.
We've budgeted for it already, so it's just a matter of, you know, obviously put your costs together and see where we're at.
Okay. I mean, I don't anticipate it being a whole heck of a lot if I don't have to outsource a whole lot of labor, you know. If we can do most of our labor.
If you guys can do
Yep,
it in-house,
so,
that's
Yeah.
fine by us. I think that's how we did the remodel out there, but,
Yeah. And I don't anticipate a whole lot going wrong with that. It seems pretty simple and pretty easy, so, from what we're going over right now. Well, you know, the hardest thing is going to be moving some lines under the concrete for sewage, but other than that, I think most everything else is pretty basic, so just kind of something we can handle. Those are a couple things we're looking at trying to get done out there, and then just waiting to hear back from Montezuma Water on that and see where we can go with that one. But other than that, that's all I have. So unless you guys got questions or anything like that for us.
he was supposed to get that updated cost to you within a few days after we met last time.
Yeah, and
You
I
still don't have it?
No, I talked to him right before Thanksgiving, and he said he was working on it, and he said he'd get a hold of me right after Thanksgiving. So I didn't hear from him yesterday, and I might reach back out today if I don't hear nothing. So today or tomorrow, see if I can get something from him. So.
All right. Anything else?
We've got that discussion on the racetrack contract.
I think we decided yesterday we were going to put that off till
Okay.
the middle of January, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Till the middle of January, because then he would sign it, and then it would take place for starting February 1st.
Yep, that's fine. I mean, yesterday, that way we just kind of got a way to go over it, you know, so you guys could kind of see what he was wanting to do. And
I think it's more the discussion of the plan, you know, of what he's wanting to do. Like I said yesterday, if he's just unscrewing light bulbs, that's one thing. But if he's wants to change the entire infrastructure, then we
Fixture
need
heads and stuff like that.
we need to know what's going on before
No.
we approve that.
I agree. And he'll get back to me with some of that stuff, and then I'll bring it in and get your guys' approval on it. Because I do know he was wanting to try to do the lights, and if we do put in something like new poles, or he puts in new poles, you know, we're probably going to have engineered plans and things on it. So, yeah, I definitely agree. We'll have to have everything in order. So, but I'll get that to you when he gets everything over to me. We just kind of wanted to make sure everything was kind of rolling and we had a vision to look forward to. So
Okay,
that's all I have for you guys today.
all right.
So,
Sounds good.
Yep.
Thank you, Justin.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Gentlemen.
Okay, so that kind of takes care of that portion of the unfinished business. So I'm going to bring this up to you, gentlemen. We have the sheriff here, and I know that it is not on the agenda under unfinished business as far as it relates to the contract with Southern Health Partners. We've discussed it in length. However, we do not have it on the agenda, and I know that because we don't have it on the agenda, we have typically in the past not decided to address it. So I'm gonna ask you today, do we want to address it? Do we want to put it on the agenda for next week? How do you guys want to deal with this one?
Steve, are you under some kind of time frame constraint or?
Just they won't work with us, getting the procedures, and policies in place until after the summer.
Okay,
Which I can understand why they won't spend time putting this together if they don't have a contract.
right.
That's it. It just shortens a period of time, but that's okay. It's whatever you guys want to do, it's your contract.
I'd like to do it today, but sitting here thinking maybe we should cross the Ts and dot the Is and keep it perfectly straight and narrow.
So we have
In case
two
somebody
choices.
says-
We have to post it 24 hours, correct, Ian, before we can have another meeting?
That's correct.
So if, just to not push you off as far as time, because with the holidays coming up, I know what's gonna happen, and December's gonna turn into a very short working month for most people. So, and we could even do this via Zoom. If you guys wanna post this, we could do it tomorrow afternoon. Would that still be compliant and within our?
Yeah, as long as you give the notice and provide a link to that meeting, so the public can be part of that,
Yep.
that would be sufficient.
Are you guys okay with that? And we don't have to actually be in the boardroom. If you have other things scheduled, we could do it and just do it all by Zoom also?
Sure. That's fine.
Okay, what's the best time? 2:30, 3?
3?
3
Yeah.
PM? 3 PM work for you? Tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Because, I mean, it's 10 o'clock now. We'll be giving them a little more than the 24-hour notice.
Do you want me to leave this with you? This is the one that has to be signed.
You can just, yeah, you can leave it with Kim. We've all obviously seen it, discussed it, talked about it. It went back to you and your attorney. And we'll just set up, Travis, a special meeting for tomorrow at 3 PM. And this will be the only discussion item that we have, is the contract for the Southern Health Partners for the Sheriff's Department. And also send a Zoom link so that if anybody needs to do it by Zoom, or we can be here too, either way. Okay,
Be on Zoom.
well, I'm just trying to make it
Me too.
easy, so,
I'm gonna come sit up here, Sheriff, just because I'm better at being here than working the Zoom, so.
and I'll be
so-
here also. So I'm just making sure that everybody has that. So we'll address that tomorrow, since it was not on the agenda today, in order to maintain full transparency to everybody.
Well, thank you for helping me out.
All right. Okay, gosh, moving right along, I just got a message from James, he doesn't have anything today. Ian?
So last week, in our Ironwood case, we entered into a stipulated injunction with Ironwood, and the judge signed off on that injunction. So just so you guys understand what that looks like and how that works, basically the injunction is a court order, and it's ordering Ironwood to stop violating the Solid Waste Act. In that injunction, there are 3 parties to it. It's the county, it's CDPHE, and it's Ironwood. And basically what the court has ordered Ironwood to do is to fully remove all of the waste from that site by February 28th of 2023. There are benchmarks within the injunction that dictate timeframes for removal of certain amounts of waste. So, for instance, by December 31st, the pile needs to be divided, and 36,000 more yards of waste, 36,000 more cubic yards of waste need to be removed by December 31st. Then by January 31st, they'll remove an additional 42,000 cubic yards. And by February 28th, they'll remove the remaining 50,000 cubic yards. Certainly, because this is a court order, if at any point in time one of these benchmarks is missed, we will have the opportunity to go in and enforce this order through a contempt action. One of the key components of this order, and I think it's really important language, is in this order, Ironwood stipulated that they have the ability to get this done. And in a contempt action, one of the things that you have to prove in order to prove contempt is the ability to comply with the court order. So this is certainly a really good thing for the county. It lays out specific benchmarks for Ironwood, and hopefully we'll get full compliance, and that pile will be removed by the end of February. And so I just want to thank CDPHE and Council for Ironwood for working through this with us. I think it's a good result, and now we've got a court order that's laying out exactly what needs to be done. So that was a big development last week. Other than that, I don't really have anything more to report.
All right. Thank you again. Okay, Travis.
So Justin brought up the transformer and the restroom project that we've been working on. Most of the week's been dealing with mill levies, end of year financial stuff. Working on a financial and budget policy, so it's clearly spelled out for everybody, and just trying to get everybody on the same page and expectations. And tomorrow I'll be attending most of the day a United Way team for child maltreatment prevention, so I'll be working on that tomorrow.
Okay. Question, Travis?
No.
Okay. All right. To my left today, Commissioner Copenhaver.
Mankus didn't have a meeting last week there, the day before Thanksgiving, so there's not much to report on the town meeting there. Few contacts with people. We have 5 applicants for the extension agent that are in right now. We're starting the evaluation process of those applicants. We may, I think it's still open till the 1st, but we may get more, but at the present time, we have 5 qualified applicants. So,
Good. And that's for other formula-funded position, right?
yes.
Okay. Good deal.
Yeah, I didn't go, I zoomed into this Cortez City Council meeting last week. They canceled their workshop, and it was just approval of a lot of little stuff. Nothing really stands out, and that's about all I have to report.
Okay. It was a holiday.
It was.
All right. I didn't have a lot going on either for throughout the week. We did have our conversation yesterday, our workshop as it related to the discussion of the 2023 racetrack. Mr. Garcia was in here. He is interested in pursuing that agreement again for the 6 months. He did ask for a couple of months prior to that to be doing some of the repairs that he needs, and we just discussed that to a certain degree today. We also had a presentation from Elisa Bloomquist on the Homes Fund as it relates to Montezuma County, and the benefits that provides as far as down payment assistance through people, whether they hit a 80 AMI, 100 AMI, or even up to 120 AMI, if I read those correctly. So I did not see that on our agenda. I know that there was some paperwork that had to be resolved before we do that. So will that be on our agenda next week, or?
Yeah, we'll put that on the agenda for next week.
Okay, perfect. And that's other than slow down, it's icy out there, it's slick out there, be careful, be cautious. Give yourself an extra 30 minutes if you need to, but be careful out there, and that concludes.
I just had one other thing. Yesterday, there was the discussion about waiving the fairgrounds fees for the service for the deputy
Oh.
that passed away. I think that's probably something that we should just briefly address.
See that on here, but
I would so move we waive the fees at the fairground for this service of this young deputy.
Second.
it's been moved and seconded to waive the fairground fees for one of our county employees for this coming Friday's services. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay,
Motion to adjourn.
all right.
Second.
Moved and seconded to adjourn this November 29th, 2022 meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.